In this week's setup, we're going to go over how to place kickers. First things first, we'll need to go into the panel's property by selecting Element, hit Properties, go into the Miscellaneous, and hit Kickers. What we'll need to do in this case is we'll need to hit the Add button. It's going to ask us to select the name. I'm going to keep the default, hit OK. And then here we'll need to select the way that we are going to be placing it. If we go hit the pull down here where the dimensions are, we have a couple of ways of doing. We can do angle with elevation, height, or lateral offset, elevation, offset, and lateral offset. We can do by height, level, level above, and level name. For this example, I am going to be using the elevation offset and lateral offset. Now you can see in the name that we do have some brackets here. It is referencing this information right here. So from this reference point going up, what is that value that we want? So I am going to make everything 16 inches. Same thing over here. We're going to do 16. Now if I click somewhere around here, you're going to notice that we do have more dimensions. So here you can see we have a BO. So the BO is going to be referencing the bottom offset. So you can see by default we do put a negative 6 inches. However, I am going to be changing that to 1'4". Here, this one would be for the height. This would be for, an angle. So if I do, hit the pull down again, you can see the angle is the 8A. Now, if we get into the parameters here, we have the first option for the bottom attachment. So we do have two ways of placing it. So you can place it on the top of your panel or on the bottom. For example, we're going to do top of panel. You have your bottom offset. You have your first kicker offset. So again, I'm going to do 16 uncentered. We can restart our spacing at pin members. What's your traditional spacing? So again, doing 16 inches. Then you have the maximum and minimum angle allowed. So we do 0 to 45. You have offset from center. So you can see in this case here, we do have that value here. If we do go back here, you can see the LO does reference there. So by default, we do place them in the center. However, if we do, change that value we have here, the kickers will adjust. When it comes to pin members, what do you want your spacing to be? So we're going to again do 16 and then placement method. So we'll place your kickers based off of the offset that you placed. If a kicker lands where there's no stud, what method would you like us to do? Would you like us to do offset or by the closest stud? Again, based off of the information that we have here, if you do by stud, by offset, it will place based off of the information you put there. Then you have placement side. So we can put our kickers on the interior, exterior. We can stagger them from the interior to exterior or put them on both sides. So for this example, we're going to do interior. You have an angle, and then here you have where we are going to be attaching the kickers to. So this would be the stud. So are we placing on the web side, open side, or center? We're going to keep it to web side. Now we're going to go into the kicker tab. You can flip the kicker. You have the angle if you want to place an angle on the kicker. And then you have the offset for the bottom and top of the kicker. Again, the kicker will be based off of the information you put here. However, you can put additional cutbacks on if you want to. Then you have the horizontal justification. So you have side 1, side 2, and center. Center would be the center of the stud. Side 1 is the hard side. Side 1 would be the open side. Side 2 would be the hard side. what type of stud we are using, what type of Revit family we're going to be using for our kickers. So I'm just going to keep the traditional 600S 137-33s. Then you have the vertical justification. So this will reference the value we have here. So this reference point, is this the center of that kicker, the top of the kicker, or the bottom of the kicker? And that you would change using this option here. So after you change all your information, what you're going to do is you're going to hit close. You're going to hit OK. Just going to shift on this side here. And you can see based off of the information that we placed, it placed kickers on our studs. So in this week's tech tip, I showed you how to place kickers in your panels property.